Hello, hello. Welcome to the Total Truth Show. My name is Aldwyn Altuney from the Gold Coast in Australia.
And my name is Ken Kleinberg, coming to you all the way from the USA, San Diego, California.
And this is Anna Berger from Melbourne, Australia.
And we'll be right back starting a very exciting episode straight after this short introduction.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Total Truth Show, hosted by myself, Ken Kleinberg from San Diego County, California.
And I'm Aldwyn Altuney, known as the Media Queen from the Gold Coast in Australia.
And our goal here on this show is to help you to break away from the mainstream media propaganda and lies, the disinformation and misinformation that's out there in the mainstream, and really help you to start questioning everything and start doing the research for yourself. We want to punch through all of that disinformation and misinformation. Our goal here is to raise global consciousness to quantum critical mass and then pave the way for a new awakened civilization. And we would love for you to come along for the ride. Don't take our word for it. The things that we share here on the show, that goes for our guests too. Start doing the research for yourself. Start going and asking the questions for yourself. Get out there and really find the real truth behind things. So with that, let's get started, you guys. Let's dive into today's episode. Once again, welcome.
Oh, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited about this episode and our special guest today, the amazing Anna Berger from Melbourne in Australia. We're going to be chatting about the truth about your own superpowers today. Such an exciting topic. And we've got of course, amazing co-host Ken. How are you feeling today, Ken?
Absolutely wonderful and very excited as well, as we've been chatting for the last half hour behind the scenes on today's topic. So very, very excited and just definitely got a lot of anticipation.
So excited too. And a little bit about Anna before we chat with her. Now, she is making waves in the personal development industry. She is a subconscious mind specialist, international best-selling author, keynote speaker, and she's the CEO of Quantum Mind Academy. And she believes that within each of us lies untapped superpowers waiting to be discovered. A genie in a bottle that, when truly understood, can even make physical and emotional pain optional. There's so much more we can say about her. We met recently in Melbourne at an iconic speaker event with the amazing Sheree Eilertson and Ethan Donati, and we connected immediately. And now I've done her challenge and I'm in her mastermind program. I'm absolutely loving it. So welcome, Anna.
Thank you. This is awesome. I'm so looking forward to this conversation. Just like Ken was saying, we were chatting behind the scenes, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, can't wait. So, Anna, what got you into this in the first place? I know you've overcome some big challenges. Maybe share a little bit of your background of some of the challenges you overcame and how you came to do this work.
Yeah, look, I got into personal development very, very early in my life, in my early 20s, and I did all the fire walking and decided to. Somebody told me that I couldn't get into building, or because it was a man's job. And so with all this power behind me, with all this training of my mind, I got into this and built a massive construction company. 15 years later, I attracted a business partner, not a business partner, but a financial partner that decided to wipe us out. And going from, being really, really, wealthy and successful down to zero, it was just a real awakening for me. And that sort of opened a little bit of a soulful journey, because all I kept on questioning is, why did it happen? Like, what did I do to attract this? This law of attraction was a little bit of a buzzword. So I started asking myself, what is it that happened? And started to question the beliefs that I had in my mind. And when I discovered that, I actually discovered the subconscious mind. Now, I didn't discover the subconscious mind, it was already there, but learning about it, and when I've learned that how powerful the subconscious mind is, that our conscious mind, our thinking mind, has got no chance against the subconscious. And this is what got me. So for the last 15 years, I've been studying anything that you can find on the subconscious mind. So anything from psychology to physics to quantum physics to neuroscience. And one thing that I've found is just so complex that normal person, when they pick up those books, they just can't understand it. You know, you're starting reading this jargon, and the ability that I had of being able to build business really fast and get results fast made me think there must be a better way. How do you recode whatever got coded into you when you were a child? So yeah, that's pretty much what got me into it. So I've been doing it for the last 15 years, and Quantum Mind Academy was born 3 years ago. And now we have students all over the world, and I teach them how to not only understand the subconscious mind in simple terms, but how to actually recode it, which is really cool.
I like that, because I'm the one that when I'm fighting something that's technical and complicated, I'm the one that's sitting there going, can I get an English version of this, please? You know, and so I appreciate the fact that you're simplifying it, because I think a lot of times when we do get in the subject of subconscious mind and like all this quantum reality and different things, I mean, and the whole quantum reality and all of that, that's actually interesting enough. That's a concept that's fairly new to me over the last couple of years. Previous to that, like I never knew anything that had to do with quantum. So it's also kind of like a subject I'm kind of like, I still kind of feel like this quantum whatever is still kind of like out there, and it's just like this woo-woo stuff, because like I don't understand like a lot of it. So people like you that are bringing across like English versions of these things, love it.
The thing is, you got to simplify it. You know, when you're a quantum physicist and you understand the quantum, like we've got, you know, right now I'm running a 5-day challenge, and I've got psychologists, I've got quantum physicists, I've got really super intelligent people in it that have been studying this for years. And the feedback that I'm getting is like, it's so simple. Like, how didn't I put this together? The reason why I didn't put it together is because our mind has been trying to make everything so complex. But when you strip it down and you actually realize how much power you have within you, it's insane. It's like literally you've got a genie in a bottle that's sitting there that can do so much for you. You know, the science tells us that we use 5% of our mind, of our brain. This is opening the door to the 95% that we didn't know existed. It's quite incredible.
And that's been there all along. And I think half the thing is just getting conscious where we've been unconscious, or maybe, you know, letting the conscious mind, you know, just step aside sometimes, because we can be our own worst enemies with the conversations in our head and with how we've come to know life and how we've been conditioned, particularly through the media and through Hollywood and through movies, etc. And for anyone who's seen Out of Shadows, you'll know what I'm talking about here. The conditioning we've had from a young age is to live in drama, right? And so if we don't have drama, we tend to create drama, is how I've experienced my life in the past. And I've definitely had this underlying story of, you know, this too much to do, not enough time. And it seems to be like, you know, it feels like things are shortening as far as like there's so much to do. And the more I play a bigger game in life, it kind of feels like this constant racket has been running the show. And now, yes, I do have a lot to do. However, the more conscious I am of that belief I've had, that I don't have to live into that anymore. Like I notice it and I can go, right, next, right, next, you know, thanks for sharing, and next, right? And actually get in flow and get in and be in the zone, even with lots to do. It's about how we do life, right?
Yeah. And, you know, like, so we tend to think that we can consciously change certain things. You know, there's this quote that everybody quotes that talks about, you know, how our thoughts create our reality. That's all great, but what most people don't know is those thoughts were never ours to start with. See, subconscious mind, and a lot of people think they know what subconscious mind is. The word quantum, subconscious, consciousness, all this gets thrown around. But when you dig down deeper into it, hardly anyone actually understands what it means. Now, there are probably 1%, maybe even less of people that actually understand it. They usually work in media. They can manipulate and in marketing, where they can sell you stuff. That's neuroscience. Or in government, where they can control you. But if you actually understand what the subconscious mind is, It's either going to work for you or against you. Now, most people don't even know we have it. Like this is, there is this huge buzz around the world right now with AI, everything, AI, these, ChatGPT, all these AI tools. And we're getting so excited about it because we've got those tools. You were born with one. Like literally the subconscious mind is like a self-learning computer. The second you were conceived, it's learning. Like a human being, when a human being's born, you can't actually survive on your own. So you've got this little helper that's coding, literally coding everything that's going to become your life. So it's designed for safety. So it's looking, so the minute you're born, you arrive on planet Earth and you've got family around you, and the subconscious mind is like, how do we survive? How do we survive? Okay, and it's, look, how do I get love and how do I belong so they don't just throw me over the curb and I don't get fed and I die. So the subconscious is very, very powerful, and it codes. So for those first 7 years of your life, it's like on your brain is like on hypnosis. We don't have the ability of process the information. It's, so my background is in construction, and when you build a building, you start with a big hole in the ground. That's where you put foundations. From human beings' perspective, the subconscious mind, for the first 7 years, there is a hole in the ground, and anyone that walks past it, whatever rubbish they throw into it, that becomes the algorithm for who you become as an adult. It's quite fascinating when you learn this. So anything, we sort of think that by the time we become adults, I caught a little habit that I need to change. It's not a habit. It is so, so powerful. Subconscious mind is a million times more powerful than our thinking mind. It doesn't matter what our thinking mind wants to create. We're setting goals. I want to lose weight. I want to start a business. If the subconscious think it's unsafe, ain't going to happen. So you really need to get down to, how did it get coded? How do I go and recode it? Does that make sense?
Yes. Very, very, very exciting world, I must say. And as you say, it's very simple. And, the logical mind will be trying to analyze exactly what you've said here and work it out.
Me, yes.
Okay, let me put a visual to this, okay? We've got our thinking mind and we've got subconscious mind, okay? So it's like two parts to the mind. The power of our thinking mind, which is what we normally learn with, so any personal development, any schooling system, anything that we would like to wish to do and put on a vision board, that is on a conscious level. So now the conscious level is equivalent to a bicycle. Like if you look at vehicles, it's like a bicycle. The subconscious mind, the power of it, it's like a bullet train. If the two are not aligned, if the subconscious thinks it's unsafe and puts brakes on, it doesn't matter how fast you pedal on this bicycle. It's like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. It ain't going to happen. If the train is pulling a different direction.
You're going to be ran over by that train, in other words.
Yeah, or it will pull you totally different direction. So this is why, if subconscious, whatever, like let's say if you're not a millionaire right now, there is a reason. There's a reason for it, and the reason is the subconscious doesn't think it's safe. If you can't sleep, it's because subconscious doesn't think it's safe for you to sleep. Whatever it is that you don't currently have in your life, it's because subconscious thinks it's unsafe. It's all about safety. Okay, somehow when you're a little child, there's something that has happened that actually the coding that got in is it's unsafe for you to do that. Okay, it's unsafe for you to run a business. Business is unsafe. So if your conscious mind goes to a seminar and goes, that's it, I'm going to create a new business, and off it goes, and and you go, I'm going to do a new business, start a new business, and it gets harder and harder because you got this elastic band that's pulling you back, saying, no, you're not doing it. Okay, subconscious will let you run for a little while so you can amuse yourself, amuse the conscious mind, and you'll be learning and you're going harder and harder and harder, and eventually something happens, come back to status quo. How many, people that lose weight, come back to where they started, or they decide I'm going to start a business and they work hard. I remember when I was building my business, now we got it up to about $250 million projects, but it was hard work. It was really working. Like I was, still had this walking on fire thing, and I was working 16, 17 hours a day, but I was working against the gravity of the subconscious mind. So once you actually realize that, and when you learn how the subconscious gets coded, it's no different to a computer program. You go back and say, what are the error codes? Where did we go wrong with the actual programming? If you can look at the subconscious mind as a computer program, it is so simple to recode it. You just simply change the code and it's a different algorithm. It's no different to, when you pick up a phone and you press a button, upgrade, it actually gives you a different algorithm. It's the same thing with subconscious mind. Most people haven't got a clue that it exists, and they keep on working on this bicycle. I'm going to do this. I'm going to change a habit. I'm going to change a habit. Now, I promise you, when we do search with a lot of my clients are very successful. And, they sometimes hit a glass ceiling and say, hey, there's just something not quite right. Either my relationships are not working out or something with money is not working out. When we do search for the subconscious mind, we find anywhere between 300 to 400 error codes. That's 300-400 habits that you need to change. Now, if you try to do it on conscious level with that little bicycle, you're going to be under construction for the next 40 years, right? So this is why most of the time when you learn new things, you get to the point, who in here has read more than 10, self-development books?
Yes.
Did you get 100% of everything that those books promise you? No, you go, yep, I know, but there's nothing that's showing up in your life, right? It's not that you don't know, on conscious level, but that bicycle has got no hope against the train.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's like accelerating and got the brake on at the same time. I can really relate to that. And I know that a belief I've had, and I don't know how this would have got coded at some point, but it's a belief that you have to work hard for your money. And I've seen this play out through my life, have to work hard for your money. And there's also been like, no matter how much I do, it feels like it's not enough. So where would beliefs like that, where would that come from, Anna?
Everything happened in childhood. Okay. So the first 7 years is where most of the codes go in, because the conscious mind doesn't really get developed till after the age 7. When you have little children running around and you can speak to them 5 languages and they're going to know them perfectly, like absolutely fluently. You try teaching a child after the age of 7 and it slows down. That's because the conscious mind really, really slows down. So whatever beliefs that got into the subconscious mind at the beginning, suddenly you have this million to 1 power. So you get, the conscious mind is like at 40 beats a second, subconscious 40 million beats a second. So you got this huge suction right now because this power is trying to bring more information in and your conscious mind is slowing it down. So all these different filters go on that say, I'm only going to collect the information that I already know. So if, let's say, there is a code in here that I'm not good enough, okay, and that could have just be as simple as, you've got great parents that say, come on, you can get an A. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can do that. You can get that gold medal, okay, and a child doesn't get gold medal, and suddenly I'm not good enough, okay, it goes in, it becomes an anchor belief, which means if that becomes, I sort of compare it to a folder on a computer, this little folder that says I'm not good enough. Suddenly, everything that you're going to be, there is this filter that's called confirmation bias, which means I'm only going to be looking for things that confirm what I already know, because I can't, on conscious level, I can't absorb that much information. It's very slow processing power. So the thinking mind will only look for things that I already know. Okay, and if I see something, it's like, oh, that proves that I'm not good enough. Yep, let's bring this information in. And that proves that I'm not good enough. And that proves that I'm not good enough. That proves that I'm not good enough. So all the experiences that you're going to have in life are going to be proving that you're not good enough. So by the time you become an adult, the older you get, the more of this information that you have in this folder, which is full of emotion. So every time somebody says something, you're going to get very sensitive, very reactive to it. That's because there is just so much information in that folder that proves that you are correct. So it's a phenomenal mechanism, the subconscious mind. But the biggest problem with it is it just assumed that everything, that when you arrive on planet Earth, it just assumes that everything is perfect. Okay, that's a very, very bad assumption, because if everything's perfect, then you're looking around, so you arrive and you see something that's dysfunctional. You don't look at it as dysfunctional. Subconscious mind says that's how it's supposed to be. That is what love looks like. And that is just absolutely, when it actually comes to confirming what you already know, it just brings the experiences into your life that confirm it. So in your case, the question was, you have to work hard, right? That could have just been one of you, your father could have believed that, your mother could have believed that. Subconscious just simply goes copy, paste, copy, paste. This is what you believe. That's what I believe now. Okay. It's just a shortcut. And, or you see your father working really hard and you go, yep, that's what it should be. That's perfection. So that becomes an anchor belief. And then everything throughout the whole life, your conscious mind's going to have this radar and go, yep, that's a proof that it has to be hard work. That's a proof. That's a proof. So your whole life, you're going to be going through life working extremely hard because you think that that's how it's supposed to be. So it's an algorithm.
So true. And in fact, my dad, even to this day, says life wasn't meant to be easy. Dad's 85 now, and he says life wasn't meant to be easy. And I noticed the conversations, life wasn't meant to be easy. And here I am going, oh, but I'm in flow, I'm in the zone, and all that kind of thing. So it's just really, really good to just notice the conversations. And Dad often jokes, he says, oh, whatever you do, just don't get old. Whatever you do, don't get old. And it's like, well, how do I say to my dad, look, Dad, that's probably not a great thing to say because you're 85, Mum's 79, you're actually starting to get older, and we want you to live at least another 10, 20 years. So if you keep saying that, then you're going to stop yourself going there, right? But, I can speak till the cows come home, but subconsciously Dad might still have that code in there. And so until he does this recoding, the work that you do, or if he's open to that even, he's not going to be able to shift that, right?
No, it's very, very powerful. So, and that really, yeah, go on.
I think the question that's screaming inside my head right now is basically the same thing that I kind of asked backstage when we were, kind of like conversating. How the heck do I reprogram that? How the heck do I get past all of that? Because, I'm going to share this with everybody listening here too. One of the things I shared with Anna behind the scenes was, it's interesting. The last 2 to 3 months, I've been on this quest, kind of like not spending hours on it, but every opportunity I have, just kind of looking, doing research. I've been doing some studies on manifesting, how to manifest things in my life that I really want, and different things like that. What does that look like? But I've been on this mission to literally hack my subconscious mind, because I do have the understanding that the subconscious mind is very sabotaging to the things that I want in the present, to my present conscious mind that's constantly on that bike trying to, I love the bike illustration, by the way, perfect, simple, perfect, definitely can picture it. That I feel like that's me, I'm on that bike. I'm trying to make all these changes in my life. I'm trying to do all these things. I'm trying to further build my business out. I feel like I've been building the business out, but now in the back of now, as you're talking, I'm thinking, oh, well, shit, what if I'm running on this bike with my business, and what if I'm eventually going to get to the point to where I get snapped back? That now, just that thought alone is now producing fear inside of me. So, so kind of back to what I wanted to say. So on this quest of learning how to hack my subconscious mind, it's really, really interesting how every so often people like you, Anna, keep coming across my path and talking about these things, talking about the subconscious. So I've got to wonder, I'm like, all right, is it because I am starting to manifest this and I am starting to draw these things to me now that I'm seeking after them? So it's just very interesting. And so the question that I have is how does that work? And now I feel like, oh man, I've worked so hard to get where I'm at right now. Now I'm afraid that I'm going to get snapped back by my subconscious mind. So yeah, it's now it's playing, and it's this hamster wheel, if you will. So anyhow, go ahead, share.
Look, it's great to actually realize that you're getting to the point where, and you know what you're saying about manifesting. It's when you start thinking about something, it's literally like putting something in a Google search, and things are starting to show up in your life. Now, just because you're conscious about it, and you know, there's all these people out there talking about law of attraction. I'm just going to sit on the mountain and I'm going to attract wealth. Okay, it doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. However, it does work on subconscious level. Okay, because the actual filters that you have on that are the ones that are looking for it. It's like the Google search. Okay, so subconscious says, okay, I will need to, let's say, for example, if there's a folder that says business is unsafe, okay, and you're out running on this bicycle trying to build a business, the subconscious mind is bringing experiences constantly. And in real life, the way it shows up is self-sabotage, things like getting sick, suddenly get headaches, suddenly foggy brain, I can't really think straight. You know, imposter syndrome, that's another one that shows up very often. So all these things are suddenly showing up in your life. Now, in my case, you know, I've attracted a business partner that just decided, now I've actually worked back and realized the belief that I had was you cannot be wealthy and have real friends. So my subconscious mind goes, all right, which one do you prefer? You like friends? All right, let's get rid of money. There it is, right? So now how do you recode it? It's a great question. It's not something that can be answered in 30 seconds. I actually, if you don't mind, I do run 5-day challenges that people can actually join, and within 5 days, you literally recode your whole mind, but it requires sort of step-by-step process. But basically what we do is, first of all, number one is having a really, really good understanding of how the subconscious mind works. So throughout this whole thing, I actually utilize a lot of metaphors like the bicycle and a train, and you know, the computer program, so you can sort of visualize and make it really simple. So understanding the mechanics of the subconscious mind, that's number one. Secondly, scan through the subconscious to actually find out what are all these beliefs, what are those things that are tripping you over. So you really search through it, and I guide the whole group through, you know, how do you fish them out. And it's not just one by one, because that's going to take you, like I said, you're going to be under construction for 40 years. This one is, let's search through and find all the error codes. And then I'll show you how you can replace it. And the way that we're replacing is the same way that it got in. So when you're a child, your brain vibration are at theta, very, very low vibration. Your theta is, you know, when you're just about to fall asleep, and little children, that's why they, you know, ride unicorns and they're superheroes. They've got this amazing imagination. That is the same level of brain vibration. You really need to slow it down and then insert it in the subconscious mind. Because if you just simply work, you know, there's a lot of people that talk about affirmations. Okay, that's my pet hate, affirmations. First of all, they're worded incorrectly and often give you wrong commands to the subconscious mind. Makes sense to conscious, totally wrong for the subconscious mind. But also you're talking to the mirror and you say, you know, I'm fantastic, I'm fantastic, I'm fantastic. And you've got this character in your head going, no, you're not. You don't know that. So, or, you know, people that just do, you know, want to start a new business and they go on social media, I'm an expert in this, expert in that. And this little character goes, you've just learned this stuff. Right, so you constantly have this problem when when your conscious mind is arguing with you. When you get to the subconscious mind, it's silent. It's a program. So once you get it down to the subconscious level, you just literally change it. Done. Okay, it's very, very simple. It's complex, but once you understand the mechanics, the step-by-step how to do it, it's super easy. It's extremely easy, and then you can get to the point where not only you have all these really good beliefs, the really good folders in those on the computer that are scanning the whole, you know, the whole universe, going, okay, I want to prove to myself that I'm successful. I'm going to prove to myself that I'm healthy. I'm going to prove to myself that I'm this. So you actually have this system working for you rather than against you. Not only that, you can get to the point where you can actually understand the communication. So we've got another program where I actually teach how all the different pains in your body, it's literally like, I sort of compare a subconscious mind to a genie in a bottle. Okay, you've got this massive power within you, and it's trying to talk to you all the time. So like, you know, when you get a headache, for example, headache simply means subconscious genie is knocking on the door, like banging on the door saying, Your brain vibration is that fight and flight response for too long. Can you slow it down? Okay, that's why meditation helps, because it brings it down to alpha level, relaxed. Okay, but it's when you get to get this brain vibration thinking, like in a thinking mode, think, you start getting headache. Okay, all you have to do, lower the brain vibration, the headache will go away. The subconscious mind is just communicating. That's the way of communicating. So, it's really fascinating when you learn that, because any pain, it's just simply subconscious is telling you there are certain emotions that you're dealing with that are harmful. They are really harmful for you. You need to slow it down. You need to resolve this emotional issue. If you don't resolve it, guess what's going to happen? It's going to create dis-ease. So it's going to create something in your body that just damages the body, because subconscious mind is like, I can't deal with all this. I can't deal. You need to resolve this. But if we don't know, we don't know. We push through, and overachievers are probably the worst ones with that, because we don't listen to our body. We're just, it's like driving a Ferrari with 300 handbrakes on and foot all the way to, it's like, let's do it, we can do it, right? And this engine's just burning out. And, the subconscious mind inside is knocking on the door going, hey, dude, slow down. But we don't listen, okay? And that's why you get exhaustion, overwhelm. You get, people that just suddenly have a heart attack. You're just not listening to your body. But we're never taught how to listen to the body, how to listen to the subconscious mind. And also, we're not even taught that we can instruct the subconscious mind. And that's where it's really, really powerful. So anyway, that's, like I said, I can talk about this for 3 months straight without taking a break, taking a breath. So I'll let you ask any other questions.
Yeah, love it.
It's funny. Something else you mentioned too. It doesn't always happen, but it does happen like at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, on a regular basis. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I'll wake up, it's basically the thing that I wake up at like around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'm a night owl, so I don't get up early. Morning hours for me, nobody wants to know me early morning.
That's a limiting belief, right?
Do what?
That's an instruction for the subconscious mind. What you just said, I'm a night owl, I don't wake up. It's actually you're instructing subconscious mind to do that.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Ah.
That's really interesting. But anyhow, it's like, you were mentioning like if I'm awake at a certain time, there's a reason, the subconscious mind, wants me to be awake. Well, there's times where I'm awake at that time and it takes me like an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes to get back to sleep. And there's really nothing going on. I might be hearing the birds outside or something like that. And there's really nothing going on. I'm just kind of like laying there in like this limbo state, waiting for my body to finally go back to sleep again. And every once in a while, usually, at that time, if there is going to be something on my mind, it's usually always sabotaging chatter. It's usually always, it's like, you're not doing this good enough. You're not fast enough here. Why isn't this done yet? Blah, 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 blah. All this stuff. You were supposed to get back to this person. You haven't gotten back to them for 2 days. You're going to lose this person as a potential client. All these different things. It could be anything in that conversation. But these are things that, I do deal with. I wouldn't say, I guess I would say on a normal basis, not so much every day, but weekly at least, once or twice a week, I have these things happen, and it's always at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I can't get back to sleep till like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I finally do fall back asleep, and, but it's annoying. And sometimes I'll get really frustrated, really, really frustrated, because I can't get back to sleep. And it's like I'm in this battle, this fight, just to get back to sleep, because at that moment, that's all I want. And because I've also learned that the chatter and the things that go on in my mind at that time, they often seem so much bigger than what they are when I actually do wake up and it's time for me to function in the day. So I'm just wondering, what would you say to something like that?
I'm going to give you a tip, Ken, that's going to change your life right now. Okay, this is what you do with it. You've got to think of the subconscious mind that's controlling it. Okay, because subconscious controls your biology. 50 trillion cells, it's in charge of it, but conscious mind can instruct it. Okay, so this is what you say, and I teach this to my students. That's probably the first thing that I teach them, is think of the subconscious, think of the genie in the bottle. Okay, let's just use that analogy, as your assistant. Okay, now this is what you say. So when all these thoughts are going on in your head, this is what you say. Just say, hey, listen, subconscious mind, I need to get my beauty sleep. You can talk to me about this in the morning. Can you please go ahead and switch my conscious mind off right now? I want to get my beauty sleep. Wake me up at 6. When you say it like you talk to an assistant, very firm, you'll see you'll fall asleep just like that. Try it. Try it tonight.
That's so interesting. But in the back of my head, though, right now, I'm going, that's not going to work.
All right, try. I wish we could try it and come back. Go sleep. Right. It's like literally, like I said, I've got 100 people right now on the probably 160 people on the challenge right now, and everybody comes back the next day and go, "Wow, I've just fallen asleep." We have students that come through that had insomnia for years and years and years. They try this. Sometimes it's almost like when you're training a dog. Like it might not necessarily work the first time, but the firmer you are, it will just listen to you. And like I go to the point right now where if there's anything that's popping up to my mind, I will talk to my subconscious like to my assistant. And this analogy was born when I actually had the big business and I had assistants, and that's exactly what I used to do with them. I would say, listen, I know. Look, I appreciate you telling me about it. Right now, it's not a good time. You're smart enough. Can you resolve some of those things? Can you come back? Give me 2 choices to choose from in the morning. But I don't want to know about it straight away. I want to wake up in the morning. I want to have my cup of coffee, have my breakfast, walk my dog. When I sit in front of my
like the way she thinks.
That's when you tell me. And you literally, like when I wrote my book, that's how I started. It was all these different ideas. I'm like, I don't want to know now. Now I want to sleep. Switch me off. Wake me up at 6. When I sit at my computer at 8 a.m., you can give me the answers. Now, you literally, once it's trained like that, I'll sit down in front of my computer and just went, like all these answers start coming through. It's insane. The power that we have within us, it's incredible, and it can heal the body. It can get rid of all this emotional pain. It is absolutely insane. But try that. Just simply say, thank you for bringing it to my attention. Let me know in the morning. Right now, I want to sleep. Go ahead, switch me off. Okay. And
I will definitely try that. You know what? Here's the other thing. I love the way you're bringing everything across in this way. I find also there's a lot of people out there that would bring this kind of message, like subconscious and switching your subconscious mind off and speaking to it as an assistant. There's a lot of people out there that would take all of that language that you have used, which is very, very logical, very understandable. It's even scientific, it sounds like, as well. But what they would do is they would get all woohoo on it and produce like all of this, like, oh, you've got to meditate, and oh my goodness, you got to change your frequencies and energy vibes and all that. That's all got their place. Absolutely. But I kind of feel like when it comes to this kind of subject, the subconscious mind, and just kind of learning how to control that, having language like with what you're using, which is it's very solid, it's very foundational, it's very English based, if you will, not language, but you know what I mean, English based, like people can understand it, and it's very logical, very, very logical, and that's what I like about everything you're saying is like, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I can wrap my head around that. I can grab onto that. It's not something that's woohooing out here. Oh, I got to go get some crystals and meditate and all this stuff. It's not that.
There's no woo-woo stuff in these. This is the science behind, the law of attraction. It's like, what is the real science behind it? And, in fact, everything that, it's interesting because when I read the book, it was supposed to be almost like translating the science book into layman's terms, right? So anybody can understand it. So I can understand it, right? But you're reading all these books, and those books, you think that book, that doctor wrote a book, which is a fantastic book. It's written for another doctor. So it's almost like, you got to keep up with the persona of a doctor. You need to use doctor's language. Like unless you're a doctor, you don't understand this stuff, right? And doctors use Latin language. It's like, I don't understand Latin. I can't understand that. You read anything on quantum physics, and it's, I've got a beautiful, beautiful lady who's a director of quantum physics university, something or other. And, when she sends me an email, it's like literally encoded. But what it is just subconscious mind. It's like real need to be smart. Okay. So this is a child that when the child was little, parents really wanted that child to be smart. Okay. Sent to extra smart school, so the life was linked to being smart, being achieved. So they have this massive drive that they need to be perceived smart. Otherwise, they don't feel loved. Okay, so you're reading all these books and you go, this is gibberish. Like I was reading books with a dictionary on my lap, not just for English, but just in general. It's like, what does that mean? But because I was so passionate, and when I discovered these things, my children were 7 and 8 years old. And what I've realized is how the subconscious mind misunderstands what you say. So like, let's say, for example, when you say to a child, come on, you can do better than that. You're encouraging them. Adults will understand it. Child will code in, I'm not good enough. Okay. So you have subconscious codes totally on negative way. So when I've discovered that, I was petrified. Now, I looked at it and I said, okay, I was running this massive company, and yes, I was making money, and we had a beautiful farm and ponies and you name it. I wasn't there. I was working 17 hours a day. The code that's got into my children is I'm not lovable. I'm not worthy of a parent being there. When I would show up only for special occasions at school because they were performing something, the code that was going in is that love equals performance. I need to be an overachiever to even be noticed. When I discovered all this thing, and Aldwyn, I was petrified. I was like, how the heck do I reverse this? This is what's driven me for the last 15 years. It's like, how do I change it? Like, I understand it got coded. Okay, I stuffed up as a parent, even though I thought I was a great parent. How do I reverse this? So this is what really threw me onto this journey, and to first of all with my own children, and then when I started seeing this with adults, it's a totally different game, and that's what's driven me to it. But I think that by bringing the language down so anyone can understand it, it just makes it so much easier. Like, why do we have to use this quantum physics language to explain the fact that there is something that's powering us? Okay, so we've got, things like religion that talks about, you're connected to God. You've got, a universe. So different people have different, like, at the end of the day, we all know we don't choose when we're born. We don't choose when we die. Something's powering us. It's not us, right? Simple. So whatever it is, why do we have wars about what do we call that thing? Is it universe? Is it God? Is it this God? Who cares? Something's powering us, okay? So let's just go with that. Now, one of the most amazing things that I see is when people start going on this spiritual journey, okay, there is this whole talk about, you need to tap into your higher self. You need to tap into this. You need to connect with God. You need to connect with the universe. You don't need to connect with anything. If you look at quantum physics or anything that any religion teaches you, you're one. You are connected. It's like, the biggest quote that I was like, to me, this was like actually life-changing is, I can't think of the author's name. Is very hard to pronounce. It's a Vietnamese monk. And he says, the enlightenment comes when the wave realizes it's the ocean. Okay, we all think of ourselves as separate beings. You've got 8 billion waves competing. I'm going to be a bigger wave. I'm going to be this. Every single one of them is an ocean. Ocean's just playing with different waves. Now, I don't know if anybody just gets this right now, but for those that actually get this, it is insane. These massive energies just playing through us. Okay, we don't need to tap into anything. A wave does not need to say, I need to connect with water, or I need to connect with ocean. It is the ocean. The wave will not say, I need to go find the higher waters. I am the water. I am the ocean. You don't have to connect with anything on the outside. You have this massive power that's coming through us. It's just insane. The only thing is, we've got this matrix of the subconscious mind that says, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that, that we've learned as children, you can't do this, you can't do that, this is, and then you've got this massive energy that's God, universe, call it whatever you want to call it, trying to play through us, and comes across this subconscious mind and goes, oh, this is just too hard work, you're boring, I'm going to go and play with somebody else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. It makes, go ahead, Aldwyn.
Yeah, I love that ocean, the ocean wave. I mean, I love body surfing. I love getting in amongst the ocean. And in fact, so much so I was swept out to sea for an hour the other day, just 2 months ago. And as I was out there, interestingly, I was thinking to myself, is this going to be the last day on earth? Because I had said to people in the past that if I was to die, that the ocean would be a great way to go. And so I was dealing with my own thoughts as I was caught out in the middle of the ocean in Coffs Harbour with no one around and in an area that's known to have a lot of sharks in it. So if you want to find out more about that, just check out my Facebook feed and the Facebook Live I did the next day about that whole experience. So, you know, be very careful what we actually put out in the universe, what we actually say, because we could well manifest that. But, you know, I love that the wave is part of the ocean, and it's like a flower doesn't look at another flower and say, oh, you're a prettier flower than me, you know, like they're just, it's like animals are just being as well. It's just in the present moment. And it's like if we could be more as human beings, be more like the animals and the flowers and the birds, well, we are all part of that, right? And if we could be that, embrace that, embody that we are human beings, not human doings, you know, human beings, that is half the challenge, I think, if you can get into, okay, how am I being right now? So, you know, my whole racket about too much to do, not enough time. Well, yes, there's always going to be a lot to do as an entrepreneur, as someone who's playing a big game in life. There's always going to be stuff to do, even when you have a big team, even when you have systems and all that. It's about how are you being in the moment while you're doing the things that you're doing in life, right? So this has been a big thing for me, and I loved just going back to what you said about that your body shows you what you need for yourself. And I think of Louise Hay's Heal Your Life book, right? And Louise Hay's got a lot of great points she makes about, you know, different ailments. So, for example, if you've got a sore back, it means you're not feeling supported, right? If there's all these sorts of things. If you've got a pain in your shoulders, you feel like you've got a lot of burden on you, and you know, and I've had a lot of migraines, interestingly, in the past, and so, you know, no coincidences, right? Because I've been living this adrenaline lifestyle for years in the media and working to tight time frames consistently. No wonder I've had a lot of migraines, and no wonder my body has told me to slow down and to meditate and do yoga and things like that. And interestingly, with Louise Hay, now she has affirmations. You were saying, Anna, that that affirmations, a lot of them are not done properly, and they're not that powerful. Can you elaborate a bit more about that around the affirmations, and what could be some good affirmations if we were to have affirmations, and if we tied this in with this subconscious recoding as well?
Yeah. So when you say affirmations, a lot of people, so there's two parts to that. One, a lot of them are not written correctly, which we'll go into in a second. But the second one, affirmation is usually when people say to themselves. Okay, so you usually want to insert a belief that's usually opposite to what you already believe, which means the minute you say that, your subconscious, or the little character in your head's going to go, no, that's not correct. No, and it's going to argue with you constantly. Okay, so talking to yourself, you're just going to literally drive yourself nuts, because you're going to be having argument in your head. But if you actually insert it straight into the subconscious mind, okay, I call it a command. So it might look very similar if it's written properly, but it's inserted in a different way. It's inserted in a hypnotic level. Not only in hypnotic level, but I actually teach that you need to become your own hypnotherapist. So you don't actually get somebody else to do it, because when somebody else is talking, you've got this safety guard, okay, that's like, who's this? What's that? Is this? So you actually have, and it's very, very hard to bypass.
That's actually very true. I've had a couple people now with new connections that I made that have offered to try to, you know, because I've been kind of curious about that. What does, you know, hypnotic stuff look like, and what's the experience? But at the same time, I'm hearing in the back of my head this protective chatter. It's like, oh my gosh, what if, you know, da. So that's so true.
That's your gatekeeper. That's your gatekeeper going, oh, I don't know if I believe this. But if you insert it straight into subconscious, which means that conscious mind is asleep and you're using your own voice, even if the gatekeeper wakes up, it's like, who's that talking? Oh, that's just me. Go back to sleep. Okay, so it's very, very easy to actually override the program if you're doing it with your own voice. So that's what I teach students to do it themselves. And just give them, rather than, you know, giving you the fish, I teach you how to fish. And you're able to utilize those tools throughout your whole life. Now, the question that you asked, Aldwyn, in regards to, you know, what are you know, some affirmations that are incorrect, or just off the top of my hand, let me think.
Well, if I could give you an example of something that I've said, is that money comes to me easily and abundantly. Now, by saying money comes to me, it's in a way saying that money's not actually here, right? So that could be something that I could maybe reword. What could be a good way to reword that? Instead of money comes to me easily and abundantly, what's a better way to say that?
Yeah. So whenever you say something that's in the process, so let's say, for example, you know, like money comes to me, which means subconscious mind only thinks in present tense. There's no future, or it will throw conscious mind into future and past tense just to fool you. Okay. But the subconscious is only present tense. So if you say money is coming to me, that is, okay, so subconscious codes this, and it actually codes, okay, money's not here yet. A year from now, money's still coming to me. It's not there yet. Money's still coming to me. It's not there yet, okay? Because what actually got coded is not that money's coming, it's just money's not here. Okay, it's coming. That's all right. We'll worry about it when it comes. Okay, but right now it's actually writing something that's incorrect.
Why is it the negative that gets coded? Why not the positive? Because I noticed that you said the negative part of it gets coded. Why?
No, it's because it's a protective mechanism, right? So it always looks at how to protect you. So all the good things get coded as well. Don't get me wrong. So we have lots of positive things as well as negative. I concentrate on recoding the negatives only. Okay, so that's why I sort of look out for all the negative ones. You know, a lot of there's another one that I'm healing. You know, like let's say, for example, if you're unhealthy, the affirmation says, you know, my body's healing. Okay, again, you're actually asking the subconscious mind to put you in a state where you always have to experience the process of healing, which means you're sick, right? Because the only time that you get to experience, you actually ask to have the experience of waiting for healing, which means you have to be sick. Does that make sense? So what you need to do is think of it more like when you're writing commands, they have to be in present tense. And it's sometimes for the conscious mind, it's a little bit confusing because, you know, you're saying I'm wealthy. Okay. But the subconscious or conscious mind goes, no, you're not. Okay. But the subconscious mind, so you need to unlock something that will show up in your life later on. So it's almost like, you know, when you buy something on Amazon, right? And you fill out all the details and you go, yep, bought it. But it's not here yet. Okay, it doesn't matter, but you still feel like you own it. It's just simply it's going to take whatever it takes to arrive in a physical sense. If you can treat writing of commands for your subconscious mind the same way, so if let's say, for example, you want to heal, you just say, I'm healthy.
Technically, me going, sorry, I've got to insert because it was like, I feel like there was like a light bulb that went off in my head there. So interesting enough. So technically, in order to one of the ways to recode is to treat my subconscious in a sense, like, forgive the illustration, but to treat it like Amazon and just go, okay, this is what I want. These are the details. And then what? Do I click the buy now button? Like, how does that work?
Pretty much. Now, there's a little caveat in here, okay? The universe does not like you dictating how you receive your gifts. Okay, so you don't get what you want, you get who you are. And I think we had this conversation just before we started in here, when you were talking that you have to be that person. So, I cannot say, I want this house, or I want to win this lottery. I have students that come to me and say, I want to manifest upgrading to first class. No, you cannot do that. However, what you can do is actually install that I travel in luxury. Okay, now when you install that, you've got the confirmation bias scanning to find you a gift to surprise you with. Okay, the universe likes to surprise you. Just think about it. If you're a universe or God, whatever, and you had 8 billion people and everybody says, give me this, give me that, give me this, okay, that would be pretty annoying, right? The whole idea, this whole movie of life, this whole game of life, it's all about enjoyment and being able to surprise you. Okay, what's the point of living a life when you know in advance everything that's going to happen? Okay, and if I can just use a different analogy, Ken, do you have children?
No.
Do you know anyone with children?
Yes.
All right. Now, I've got 2 kids, and I can tell you that if a child tells you, oh, I really would love something like this, this would be interesting, I love that. Okay, a parent goes, better put that on the list. Okay, Christmas gift, that sounds good. Okay, so you sort of, and you really want to surprise them, and then you buy this gift and you give it to them, and they're like, how did you know? Okay, that's exciting. That's very, very exciting vibration. Now, if a child comes to you and says, I want this by this date, this is what you have to give me, the parent goes, no way. Like, I know, I would say, no, not getting it for you. Okay, different energy, totally different energy. So if you can apply this into the universe, the way the universe operates, when you actually set an intention, it's like, wouldn't that be nice to meet somebody like that? I'll give you an example. Years ago, I said to somebody, I said, I'd love to meet Oprah Winfrey. I think that would be fun. And I know that I live in Australia, she's in Chicago, and I thought that would be pretty cool. But I totally forgot about it. I was literally hugging her and speaking to her for 2 hours within 8 days. That's insane. But it's just simply, it was one of those things, wouldn't that be nice? Okay, and out of my mind, I've just left it up to the universe, okay? And guess what? I got surprised. So the universe likes to surprise you with different gifts. Don't dictate how the gift's gonna arrive. You just simply install, I travel in luxury, okay? If I believe this, then there's so many different opportunities that the universe can actually show you that gift. But if you say, I want to get upgraded, the universe goes, yeah, right. Not going to happen.
So, I mean, I guess I would almost like go as far to say what? Well, I don't call it universe. I'm a Christian, so I call it, God. So what if God has brought me you as a gift and a surprise? Because the way you're explaining things to me makes a lot of sense to me. And it's actually the first time in a long time I've been able to like go, oh, and then light bulbs are going off in my head. And I'm going, oh, this and oh, that. So would you go as far as to say that, and because I've been on this journey to like hack the subconscious, and it's like, yeah, that would be nice. And I bet you I have said that. And I think I have. That would be nice to be able to hack my subconscious to get past this particular level in my life. I would like to do that.
Ken, there's absolutely no question that that's the reason why I'm here. Absolutely. There's no such thing as coincidence. Okay. No. When you look at the particle, like if you look even on quantum physics level, there's no such thing as coincidences. Everything is just, just the energy just reacts to each other, right? If you put a little pebble in the water, all these ripples have an effect. Everything's cause and effect. So there's absolutely no question that that's the reason why I'm here. And I'll probably, and this will possibly, I don't know, might blow your mind, hopefully not literally, but take it back to this wave analogy, right? If every wave is just simply an ocean, which means every human being is just simply an ocean. An ocean It's an analogy for the creator, the actual creation that's experiencing life for you. So being a Christian, God's experiencing life for you, for your eyes. It's experiencing for me, for Aldwyn, for everybody that's watching this show right now, which means when you bring it back to the wave analogy, you are part of the creator.
Yes, I do believe that.
The wave doesn't need to hack itself. The wave simply has to realize that it's the ocean, and it will actually allow this flow to come through. Does that make sense? Which means it's not you actually brought me here. So your thoughts have created, manifested this whole interview. I don't know if that's a little bit above what most people can comprehend, but when you actually start thinking on that level, it's pretty amazing.
And it's interesting because yeah, like it's been about 2 or 3 months that I've kind of been on this journey and just been, what does this look like? And and at times of frustration because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere with this. What the heck is going on? I just feel like I'm stuck in the same place.
Can I just stop you for 1 second? I want to give you a little example. Okay, just the words that you use right now that I've been stuck in one place. I had recently a friend of mine rang me and told me about her husband that got hospitalized. The healthiest person I know, has never, he's into organic food, never had anything put into his body. It was just superbly healthy, and suddenly got paralyzed, 37 years old. Okay, which was absolute shock. The doctors just literally said, okay, 50-50 chance that he's going to survive the night. And if he does, probably 3 years before he can walk. Okay, now this was just absolute shock. Now, I knew that he was running a really big company. And straight away, knowing what I know it's stress related. Okay, so the subconscious mind was in fight-flight response too much, and it just pulled the trigger. Now, we actually managed I actually created recordings for him that I asked the nurse to listen overnight. He actually walked out of that hospital the next day. He got released. Now, when I spoke to him the next day, because I went to see him, and I said, okay, talk to me. What's been going on? So he was explaining to me how it happened. And I said, I don't care on physical level how it happened. What were you going through emotionally? What's happening in business? Okay. And, he said something really interesting. He said, one of my suppliers just pulled out, and I was in so much stress. I was stuck. I couldn't move. I didn't know how to move forward. And I'm like, just stop. Listen to the words that you've just used. I was stuck. I couldn't move. And I said, one subconscious mind is at fight and flight response. It listens to anything, any commands. Okay. And your command was, I'm stuck. I cannot move. Look what it's created. Okay. So it literally pulled the trigger and it just paralyzed you. Now, all of that can be reversed, but you got to resolve the emotional turmoil in your body. If that doesn't get resolved, the subconscious mind is like, it's not safe. I'm going to pull the trigger.
What's really interesting too, and I wrote this down so I didn't forget to share it. So I know, first of all, before I get into this, like I as I was saying what I was saying, and right, as you like chimed in to say what you just said,
disturbed you.
My mind started going, oh shoot, I know exactly what she's going to pinpoint, because the words that just came out of my mouth. But here's the thing. I find myself saying things like that all the time. Like, I'm stuck. I'm not moving far enough. I'm not moving fast enough, and I can't get past this point, and blah, 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 blah. I do find myself saying that because, as I've been on my journey with my business, it's been just that. It's a journey, and I've done my best to trust the process, to trust the learning process and different things like that. But then I go and I see other people out there that, are far, 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 far younger than me, have way less experience and knowledge than what I have. And they're making income amounts that not only can't I can't necessarily wrap my head around it yet, but they're just, if I'm honest, they're income amounts that I'm just going, I can't even imagine that. That would be nice, but I can't imagine it right now. you know,
It's
and
their subconscious mind and your subconscious mind is coded differently. So their subconscious mind thinks that the money comes in really easily. Your
yeah,
subconscious mind thinks that it's unsafe.
interesting.
Yeah. So
Well,
this
that's
is,
something I would like to deprogram for sure.
yeah. Well, I'll see you at the 5-day challenge, right? Seriously,
Oh yeah.
you go through these, and you're going to get so many aha moments that you just go, I don't know where this came from. But all it is, that the talk in your head, that's not even you. That's just, it's almost, if you can think of the subconscious mind, a recording, like a recording tape or a CD that's just been recorded, and it just repeats on repeat on repeat on repeat. So subconscious mind's got this ability of throwing the conscious mind either into past tense or future tense. Okay,
Correct.
because if it keeps you in any of those, you're not present, which means it can just drive by itself. Okay, so it's like, okay, this boss up there has got no idea what he's doing. He doesn't even know that I exist here. So let me just move you aside. Let me hypnotize you into the future tense, so you can worry about future, or you can think about the past. Just listen to the tape and let me drive. Okay, that's pretty much what's happening. So being able to bring yourself to present tense, okay, because life happens only in the now. It doesn't happen in the future. It doesn't happen in the past. Okay, it's just, everything's just collection of now, 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 now. So subconscious mind simply, and if it throws you into a loop of past tense, the more you stay in past tense, the more you're leading towards depression. Okay, because it's just the same thing on repeat, 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 and it drags you into depression. If it throws you the other way, future tense, it's literally the past tense being projected into the future. This has happened, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, this could. It's ridiculous, right? But you're sitting in the future tense, that's where anxiety lives. Okay, so if you're too much in a future tense, you tend to have a lot of anxiety because you're worrying about something that doesn't even exist. But in the past, you're just listening to the past tape over and over and over again. So whatever's in your head talking is just that recording, just repeating the same thing over and over again. And the quickest way is to actually, out of that, bring yourself straight away into present tense. The way that I teach is, you can pinch yourself, okay, and go, ow, present tense. If you look at a plant, especially like if you go for a walk and you just look at a tree, look at the bark or look at the flower and try to describe what's the color, what's the texture. Straight away, you have to be in present tense to be able to do it. Quickest way to get out of the anxiety or anything that you're going through emotionally, present tense. Does that make sense?
Love that, Anna. And this actually reminds me of the stats out there around there's 60,000 thoughts that we have every day. 80% of them are negative and 95% of them are the same thoughts we had yesterday. So exactly what you're saying, that thoughts go round and round and round and round, right? That's the average.
I'll probably say with Moss, and like I said, I deal with a lot of successful people, but probably I would say there's much, much higher percentage of the negative thoughts, okay? Because the thing is, the thoughts actually come out from the subconscious mind. And subconscious mind is all about protection. Okay, so it's always on the lookout for where do I have to duck? It's like, oh, gotta watch out for this, gotta watch out for that. And this is why, you're talking about obviously being a truth show. We've got certain people have different opinions. And like right now, the world is so divided. But when you actually understand how the subconscious mind works, okay, trying to persuade one person to think the other way, the subconscious mind literally goes through all the experiences. So it's like a spreadsheet, goes through all the experiences and comes out, that's a total. The other one goes, no, that's a total. And we're going to sit here, have an argument. Who thinks what, right? Now, if you manage to persuade me, that means you are just simply louder. But my mind is going to, if I keep on thinking about this argument, it's going to come up with error codes, which means I'm actually going to start growing resentment against you, okay? Because my mind is telling me that that's incorrect, okay? And your mind is telling you that that's incorrect. So we're going to have this argument. The perception of life is just simply a spreadsheet of our past experiences. That's all it is, okay? All I'm experiencing is certain life. Like we could have 2,000 people here right now. if you ask everybody, everybody's in a different reality. Everybody sees life in a different way because it's perceived the way that the matrix got coded in their mind. Okay, so if let's say they believe let's say, for example, if they grew up in an environment where you had to obey authority, and usually there was no problem, like whatever they promised you, they got. Okay, they learned, the subconscious mind has learned it's really important to obey authority. You have to follow the rules, and it's good to follow the rules. Okay, there's another child where it has a very busy parent who promises them something but then doesn't deliver, and subconscious mind goes, oh, just because somebody says something doesn't mean it's going to happen. Okay, so you actually start questioning status quo. So you grow up into an adult that's going to be questioning status quo. And then you get these two people, adults, arguing over whatever topic the media throws at them, which, a beautiful way of controlling people is to just throw a topic so you can fight over. Once you're fighting over, I can control you. But the thing is, nobody wins. Nobody wins. There's no such thing as really, like, you can influence people, but the actual persuasion, when comes down to the values of people's life and the actual anchor beliefs, it's almost impossible to change. It's just simply going to grow resentment in the other person, and you're going to start hating hanging out with them because they think differently.
So interesting. We did a show actually called The Truth About the Truth. I can see we've got Daryl Stern here on LinkedIn. Hello, Daryl. He says truth. That's right. Everyone's version of truth is different depending on their past experiences, right? We've got someone on Facebook here saying no competition, only connection. Thank you so much for that, our Facebook user. We don't know who you are. Please pop your name in or allow StreamYard to see your comments. That would be great. And here, love it. No more deadlines, just time frames. Yes, being very conscious of the language we use. And this comes to my next question around goal setting. Now, a lot of people say with goal setting, your goals need to be smart goals, right? So so a lot of goal setting courses and things I've been to, they say, I am so happy and grateful that I am now earning $10 million by, or by June 30, 2024, I am now earning $10 million passive income. So
what you've just said, you've actually instructed subconscious mind, right, which lives in present tense. We don't have it. So I don't have to worry about it.
All right. So what's a better way? What's a better way, Joe? And hello, Joe, on LinkedIn. Joe Purtle says, love this. Thank you, Joe. So what's a better way if you wanted to manifest $10 million by June 30, 2024, for example, and being specific? Is it important that we're that specific with the subconscious mind? Or because you said earlier, you said, I am wealthy. Well, wealthy could be many things to, like, what is wealthy? I mean, wealthy could be being alive, could be wealthy. So how do you qualify that?
Look, I'm going to probably ruffle a few feathers here. Okay. But I come from a business background, and I used to live by goal setting. Okay. So it was all about, these are the deadlines, this is what I need to achieve, and it's all about, goal setting, and you need to reverse engineer these. Now, one thing yes, you can do that, but it's such a slow way of doing this, okay? Whatever we can think with our thinking mind is nothing compared to what the universe or the God can create for us, okay? It's you're simply trying to control, okay? The minute you stop controlling, that's where the power comes in. So this beautiful energy that wants to play through us, it wants to give you everything. It really wants to show you what's possible. But our subconscious mind goes, no, I want to have $1 million by this date. Why? Okay, so the whole thing, so the way that I used to live in business, and look, I built a very, very successful business, no question about it, and you can do it, right? But the way that I'm doing it right now is totally different. Okay, first of all, the understanding that everything that you need is already there. It's within you. Okay, so to me, like, I don't need to get $1 million to get wealthy, because this is actually subconscious mind will throw you into this trick. You need to get $1 million so you're happy. Okay, I can promise you're not going to be happy when you get to $1 million. I've got a lot of millionaires who are my clients, and it's just simply a subconscious mind is throwing you. It's like a carrot. It's like, go chase that one. Right, I'll do my own thing. You just go, I'll keep you busy. Okay, here's a ball. Go and chase the ball. So all this goal setting, again, like I said, I'm going to probably, ruffle quite a few feathers here, but there is a quicker way of building anything. And the way is to really, first of all, understand that everything that you need is already there. Okay, so putting this codes that it's like, I'm wealthy, I'm healthy, I am all of these already. Now, what you do then is set intention. I'd love to play with this, okay? And I'm going to just let it, this is the direction that I want to play, okay? So you sort of set an intention that it's like, I'd like to expand my business this way, and just let it go. And whatever shows up, okay, because once you set the intention and the subconscious is not compromised, once you set intention this way, anything that's going to show up, it's showing up for you. Okay, the confirmation bias is literally on a hunt, bringing all these different experiences. It's only our mind that goes, I don't like this. No, that's probably not that. Everything that's showing up, there's no everything's synchronicity. If you do everything that shows up to the best of your ability, the speed that you can travel at and achieve goals is insane. And there is no way that our conscious mind could even come up with those ideas. Like, think back to your past experiences. If there are sometimes things that just somehow happen and you ended up just being so, like, it was just the coolest experience ever. But if you were to actually try to figure it out how to get there, no chance, right? If I was to think, how could I go and meet Oprah Winfrey right now in 8 days? I couldn't figure it out, okay? I left it up to the universe, and it's like, there it is for you. So, it's the actual goal setting, like our mind, like we've got masterminds that go for 5 months, and then we've got this world where we all hang out. It's called a quantum world, and it's like our own private platform, and we meet up around the world. But we actually, so this is human beings that have been recoded, and all we do is set intention, and it's like, this way, let's run this way. And it's insane, the kind of stuff that you can achieve. It's just incomprehensible. Like, it's impossible to think that you're able to achieve this. So, but it's all more about expanding. So if you think of yourself as, I don't know, a sunshine that's got rays, different rays. Okay, you've got the, and I sort of divided into like 5 different categories. One is all about self-love and health and mental health and the ability of utilizing this vehicle. Second one is all about wealth creation, but also contribution to the world. So you look at it as a energy. It's all about giving and the playing with the energy of money. It's incredible. The next one is all about connection. Soul truly craves like deep connections, not this, hi, how are you, but like really, really deep connections with human beings. Okay, so that's another sort of category. And adventure, right? Then there is, what I call intimacy and ecstasy, like to really, really feel this love, and experience a love with somebody. But also intimacy that breaks down into me, I see, which is being able to not having these masks on. This is who I have to be in the world, but just be yourself with somebody. And the next one is play and grow, which, the soul just craves to not just learn, that's it, but implement, create, be creative. When you look back to the way they were as children, and this is, like I said, this is all where it started for me, is witnessing children, how they see the world. They are so creative. There's nothing that stops them until parents start telling them, just be realistic. Be realistic. No, you cannot do that. You cannot do this. Okay, and it codes the subconscious mind to your ability of, playing big or little in life. So I'm not quite sure if that answers your question, but the goal setting, the way we do it is differently. It's like literally looking at all the categories and say, what am I going to play with now? Okay, I'm going to go all the way this way, and I'm going to throw the ball, stop controlling stuff. Just anything that shows up, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And that is just such a bigger way. And I work with people that, have companies over $100 million. That is how they work. Okay, so they don't try to think with this. That's a slow computer. Okay, stop thinking if you're in your with your conscious mind, with our thinking mind. Open up the subconscious and just let this energy play for you.
How totally interesting. And that just turns every single goal setting thing I've ever learned totally on its head. And here I am thinking now, because I know there's a trap to success, right? I know that like you could have 10 million, 100 million, a billion followers, and for some people it won't feel like enough because they'll go, oh, someone else has got more. So there can be this real trap of this success trap, or this goal setting trap, is that no matter how much you achieve, sometimes it can feel like not enough, right? And I've certainly felt that through my life. However, there's a part of me still going, now, if I just say I am wealthy and enjoy every moment and just be in flow and just make them and sort of think, oh yeah, I'd like this, I'd like that. There's a part of me going, now, how is that going to all unfold? Like it's my logical mind is trying to make sense of what you've just said. And it is quite mind-blowing.
Same here. It's like it's almost like there's this haze going on right now. It's like, I'm like, okay, what did she just share?
Yeah,
kind of like,
because like I'm a business coach at the moment, and the business go, okay, we're going to set some KPIs. We're going to go, okay, how many members do you want in your mass media mastery program, and by what date, and blah blah blah. And no wonder I've been so resistant to actually putting numbers and figures on, and I've been resistant actually from figures in general, and for like I've avoided my numbers in my business often. And for me, it's like, love what you do, the money will come. That's something I've always said. Love what you do, the money will come. However, I'm very conscious now when I say will come, that means I don't actually have the money now if I keep saying will come. So I am wealthy just doesn't feel like enough for me. It doesn't feel like, and so what else could you give us on that, Anna?
Just the word wealthy, what does it mean? Okay, if you go to the bank and say, I want to be wealthy, give me money, the bank teller will go, how much is wealthy? Like, I don't know. Okay, so you got to be careful with abstract words for the subconscious mind as well. So that's one thing. But one thing, and I think that out of everything that I've explained, the probably most important thing, which I think we've missed, is that I say whatever shows up, do it to the best of your ability. Okay, I didn't say sit down on the mat and say I'm wealthy, and wait for it to show up. Like a lot of these woo-woo people would tell you about, law of attraction or whatever. It is whatever shows up, it's showing up for a reason. Do it to the best of your ability. Okay, so let's say, an opportunity comes along, there is a reason why it's showing up. Okay, and maybe not necessarily packaged up in the most beautiful package, but it's probably the best gift you're going to get. So it's just simply whatever's showing up, just have faith that it's showing up for you, not against you. One of my students used this really cool analogy. She said, I kind of feel sometimes like I'm sitting at the back of a limousine with God driving, and I don't really care if it's going through the bad neighborhoods. I know it's taking me to the right place in the fastest possible way, and I'm just enjoying the journey. And I said, if you can get to that point, and that's what I'm trying to get all my students to, where they actually realize that everything that's happening, it's happening for them. Okay, it doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside world. It's happening for them, whether there is a certain lesson they need to learn to get to the next level, to be able to, like, let's say, for example, you decide, okay, I want to run $100 million company. Now, if you go from a smaller company to $100 million, there's a lot of different things that you're going to be dealing with. There are certain experiences you need to be able to understand to get you to the level. So it will actually create different experiences and clear things out of the way so that can actually show up. Okay, so sometimes, let's say, for example, you go, I want to be a millionaire, and then you lose your job, and you go, what just happened? The universe the God has just cleared space so you got the time to build a business. That's exactly what has happened, okay, because you've been asking for it. The only thing is that you require certain skills to be running this, so let me just throw different things your way so you can learn those skills so you can run it. You've asked for it. So what we get is always what we ask for. Unfortunately, most of it, it's not on conscious level, not what we're asking consciously, but what's in the subconscious mind. So whatever subconscious mind has already set up, it's pretty much like if you speak to a 7-year-old, and by the way, we've just finished, we're just launching a product where we actually teach kids between 8 to 12-year-olds how to understand the mind and how to train the mind. It's the coolest thing ever. It hasn't launched yet, but it's, we've got a lot of interest in that. But an 8-year-old can understand it, can absolutely master it. So it's not really, it seems complex, but it's very logical. And it's once you put the 2 and 2 together, you go, holy wow, we can do this. But yeah, so the answer is yes. You don't just sit there, say, I am wealthy, and expect that something's going to throw on your lap. Okay, it doesn't work like that. You still have to take action. And the whole idea is just about take whatever's showing up, do it to the best of your ability. Okay, don't judge it. Just do it to the best of your ability.
So what about if you want a certain number of properties, for example, if you set a goal, you want a certain number of properties, or, how would be a good way to sort of manifest something more specific like that?
Yeah, look, again, this is there's a fine line between, like let's say, for example, you can set an idea, okay, I want an extra amount of properties. And the question that I'll always ask is, why do you want those properties? Okay. Is there a fuss? Like, let's say, so the answer is, well, I want to have a passive income. I want to feel free. I want to, whatever the answer is. Yeah. So why don't you start with that? I feel free and I've got more money than I could possibly spend. Now, is there any other ways that money can come? There's millions of different ways, different opportunities, but none of them are showing up because you're concentrating just real estate. Okay. So you said, I need to do this. So you're slowing down the process. Sure, properties will show up if that's what you want to do. It will, but it really, really slows it down. I've got one of my students recently. I was speaking to her, and she's so determined. She's going to create this webinar, and so she set her intention to be very wealthy and live in luxury and all this. And she said, and I want to travel. I want to meet people in different cultures. So she's got all these different goals, and all she's doing is like, I need to. So she had friends that rank from Chile, from Italy. She lives in Spain, and she said, I've had this opportunity to host them, and they told me that they will even pay for my ticket to go there. And I said, no, I need to finish my work. And then she said, these people came in, and because I'm really good with real estate, I've actually been, selling a couple of properties, but I need to concentrate on this webinar. And I said, just stop for a second. I said, you've asked to travel the world, to live in luxury, and to have a lot of money. Now, your mind is stuck on this. You're saying no to this, no to this, no to this. You've just had somebody that told you they're going to fly you to Italy, to come on Italy, live in a luxury, a whole bunch of people from all over the world, friends from all over the world. You've just had opportunities with real estate where you're just literally flipping them and making money. You said no to all of this three, and you're concentrating on this. This is what I mean by, concentrating. Okay, I need to do things certain way rather than allowing. Like, the universe is literally giving her gifts. It's like, here, you live in luxury. You speaking to, you're meeting people from all over the world. I'll give you money. Just flip a couple of properties. You've got all the money. So you got all of these. Yet she's saying no to it because she's so strict on the goal-oriented task that conscious mind created. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So letting go of the control, I think, is what you're saying here, because we tend to be control freaks, don't we? Particularly entrepreneurs. I mean, no one here, of course, on this show, that we're talking about other people out there, but it can happen and has happened over time where people have been control freaks. So I speak for myself. I've definitely had a bit of a control thing and a perfectionist thing going on, right? And we've got Steve here. Actually, Steve Holmes has got a good point here. Superpowers under pressure are at another level. A lot of people are becoming impacted by pressures they are not equipped to cope with. That's a good point there, Steve. What do you think about that one, Anna?
Well, it's a very abstract statement. So give me a little bit more information between the superpowers under pressure on another level. Yeah, so you've got pressure from outside world. Now, pressure, very often the pressure that we create is actually created by us, even though it might seem like it's the world that's creating this pressure, right? But, there's certain beliefs. I need to earn a certain amount of income. I need to do this. I need to have that kind of family. I need to have this kind of car. It's all these pressures that we're actually creating for ourselves. And so I'm not quite sure what pressures you're referring to. But yeah, of course, so if the code in the subconscious mind is, first of all, okay, this is for very, very important for a lot of successful people, a lot of entrepreneurs, right? They are very, very driven. So they are overachievers, and they are also never really fulfilled. Okay, so these are the two major drivers for a lot of successful people. Now, when you actually look at that, where it came from in childhood, okay, again, is usually very high standards. Parents have very, very high standards. And usually, let's say, for example, if you have, I'll give you a personal example. I remember coming home once where I had A+ on my exams, and I showed it to my mom, and her response was, I wouldn't expect anything less of you. Wow, how deflating is that for a kid? Now, she's apologized a million times since, now that she's learned all these things. But that's how most parents are. It's like, I've got this kind of expectations. This is what you have to do. Or you only, as a parent, show up and, when their child gets golden medal and it's like, well done, okay? What the subconscious mind learns is that you only get love when there's high performance. But if there's not enough of that, okay, subconscious learns, oh, I'm not good enough. Okay, or if you throw a child into one of those, super smart schools, so the child can actually experience, actually, I'm not as good as I thought. There goes a code, I'm not good enough. You get those two driving you. Okay, and these are the two codes that are in the subconscious mind. The experiences of life is you will constantly think that you need to achieve that. I need to achieve this. I need to do this. But even when you get there, you'll never feel fulfilled. I literally built a company that was worth, like the projects that we had was $250 million. Do you think I felt fulfilled? No, never. It was just keep going and keep going. Like, when's enough? It wasn't about that. It was just like I was chasing this mirage of, I need to do this. And I was constantly under pressure. Did I need that pressure? No. So, in my case, it was something that was really tragic that had happened, that now I look back and go, actually, that was a really great awakening for me, because it made me realize that, hey, maybe that's not where success lies. Okay. And it's not that money doesn't bring you happiness. Of course it does. If you don't think that money brings you happiness, you just haven't given away enough. Okay, this is one of Anthony Robbins' quotes that I'll live by. So I'm not quite sure if I'm answering your question. The question was a little bit abstract, but if you tell me exactly what you're going through, then we can definitely decode it.
Well, it's interesting. Sorry, we'll just quickly on this point. A lot of people are becoming impacted by pressures they are not equipped to cope with. By actually saying that, you can see there's actually a code going on right there that they're not equipped to cope with. Because actually what we're saying here, we're talking about, we actually all have superpowers, right? And so by actually saying that we're not equipped to cope with it is actually a belief, isn't it? It's a code that we're not equipped to cope with it, but actually we are, right? We actually are equipped to cope with it, because we have that God energy within us, or greater organized design. I've called that God energy. I've heard of that being called as an acronym, greater organized design. We all have that God energy within us. If we are all waves and we're the ocean at the same time, if we are everything, God is within us and all around us, and etc., then we actually are equipped to cope with any pressure, no matter what comes our way, right? Yeah. And so what I'm hearing is it's about being in flow as much as possible, and welcoming and embracing whatever comes our way, and actually being as present and doing it to the best of our ability, as you've said several times, the best of our ability, whatever it is that we take on, right?
Look, I mean, obviously it starts with the recoding of the mind, okay? Because if that is a belief that you have that I am under pressure, okay, and that code would have got in very early in childhood, okay? Some kind of pressure, or parents were under pressure, the code goes in, okay? You're under pressure, which means everything that's going to be happening, showing up in your life later on, everything's just going to be always under pressure. Just like, when I've met you, you're always busy, right? That's just conditioning. So that's the belief, and that's why everything that's showing up is to actually show you that you're constantly busy. So unless that gets recoded, your experience of life will always be like that. Okay, so to say to a person who feels under pressure, go in the flow, will be just an insult. Okay, because they're like, how the hell do I go in the flow? I've got no money. This is happening. That is happening, right? So it's not going to happen. You're not going to fix any of those problems on conscious level. Okay, it needs to get down to the subconscious mind and recode it. Take that folder out and put the folder, everything's easy, simple, and fun. Okay, if you put a folder like this, your subconscious mind at 14 million bits a second, you're going to have this scanner that's going to prove you right. Now, you watch what happens then.
That's powerful. There's another thing that I wanted to say that... and I'm grateful that I wrote it down, because I didn't say it the last time. And I've been working through this more and more, because I've been more and more aware of these sort of things. And I've been learning more and more on where it comes from and where it stems from. It's this idea of me always being worried and concerned about what somebody else might think of me. So not so much on the surface level, but it could be it could be I'm having a messenger conversation with somebody, and then maybe all of a sudden the conversation just drops off, and then they don't reply to me for like a couple of days. Well, there are times where in the back of my mind I'm just going, oh, did I say that right? Did I say that wrong? Did I say this wrong? What did I say? And then all of a sudden it twirls into something that it's not. And it's all stemmed behind me giving my power away and giving my power away to other people, worrying about what other people are actually thinking of me, whether they accept me or not. And whether, what I really want to say is, empowering them, encouraging them, or, it could be a number of things.
Let me ask you a question, Ben, if I can just quickly ask you a question. When you were a child, did you feel like you were sometimes felt like being criticized?
That's perfect. Perfect. What I wrote down on this was high school, junior high, high school, and most of my childhood. I remember I never really fit into circles. I was made fun of a lot. I was picked on a lot. And it's only been in the recent, last few months where I've been becoming more aware of these things. It's like, okay, this is why I struggle so much with, what somebody's thinking, with giving my power away and with doing things to be accepted. Sometimes I'll share something with somebody at the gym, or I'll show them an exercise. And it's just the other day I was thinking, why am I really doing this? Am I doing this because I want to give them something, which, yes, is part of it. I do. But there's another motive that I'm noticing is also there. And it's a motive of the praise that I receive and the encouragement in that. They like it. Oh, great. They love it. They think this is just the greatest thing. And they're thanking me. And now there's that dopamine that comes up and all this other stuff. So, I'm seeing where a lot of this stems from, and it was perfect. Right on cue, you asked that question. So the answer to that is yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We all want to be liked. And, the whole subconscious coding, there are two things that are important for the subconscious. One is to be loved. The other one's to belong. Those two will determine whether you live or die for the subconscious mind. Okay, because if they don't love you and you don't belong, they're going to throw you out, don't feed you, you die. Okay, full stop. That's for the subconscious mind. So we've learned that the whole character was built on thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, whatever it is that you're rewarded for. Let's say, for example, if you're, let's say you do this for your parents, you do that for your siblings, and you get the reward. Okay, then you learn to become a people pleaser. If they tell you you're not allowed to, you're not, don't talk when adults are talking, there's no chance you're going to go in front of a camera or in front of, audience, because you're going to have fear, because the subconscious mind learn it's a no-no. Okay, so it literally, and because it looks at everything as this was perfection, whatever coded, that's who you become as an adult. It actually creates, we've created this program where you can search through, it actually tells you different masks that subconscious has placed on you. So you might be the perfectionist, showing up as a perfectionist. It's just a child that was really rewarded for coloring inside the circles, inside the lines. And, really, really rewarded for that, became perfectionist, okay? Because that is how you get love. This is how you, stand out from all the other siblings, like little birdies on a branch. Feed me. So the subconscious is thinking, how else can I stand out? Okay, so if one sibling becomes very smart, next sibling comes in and the subconscious mind goes, no, Johnny's too smart. Maybe I'll play sport. I'm going to get good at sport. Look at me, I'm here, right? And the parents go, yes, well done. Okay, next sibling comes in and goes, oh, I got a smart one, I got a sporty one. I can sing, I can dance, look at me, right? So it creates a different character. And then, last one comes along because I just have to laugh it off. Like if I'm going to be funny, they're going to pay attention onto me. Now, there's another one, which is what I call a designated patient. Now, that's a really dangerous one. If the parents would stop every time the child gets, let's say, for example, a little cold, okay, well, watch out, you're going to get cold, okay, or they fall down, oh, you're okay, and like really overdo it with being overprotective, the subconscious mind will learn that the only way to get love is to break down the body. Okay, anyone right now with chronic sickness, chronic pain are children that this is how the subconscious learn that love equals damage to the body. Now, once that goes in, whole life you're going to suffer from health issues. That needs to get recoded. So it's either parents will only stop when you get sick, or that's the only way that you're actually getting attention of a parent when something happens to you. So you've got a headache, oh, let me just give you some medication. That child will grow into an adult that's going to have a lot of health issues. So if right now, for example, if you find that anytime you go under pressure, any pressure, I got a headache, I got this, twisted ankle, twisted that, that's your subconscious mind protecting you. That is, okay, that's your subconscious telling you, I need love. Oh, I know, love equals, let me just get sick. Okay, and I'm going to get love. That is what's been learned by the subconscious mind. So it can get pretty dangerous.
What's the other interesting thing that I'll add into here in regards to childhood, and I remember you said from the age of 0 to 7. So I was thinking, like, as you were talking, I'm like, okay, what happened during that time? Well, I know as a child, I know I struggled a lot with ADHD. And it was at a time in history where people really did not know how to handle ADHD kids. And so I remember always being shuffled from here to there. And, classrooms, teachers didn't know what to do with me. There were times I was placed in I don't know if it was a disabled class or whatever, but they're a special class, they called it, if you will. And, I don't remember too much about like the real younger days, but I do remember that there was it seemed like that there was a lot of shuffling around and different things like that. So I'm also wondering if that deepness is also one of the reasons why today, like there's always that tendency in the back of my mind to want that acceptance, to want that praise, to want that. I mean, I've done more and more and more work on it in the recent days as I've recognized it and, heard what other people have to say about it. But it's still there. I was noticing it earlier today when I was sharing something with somebody, a couple of brand new exercises that I was doing in the gym. And this is somebody that, I think very highly of. He's a really cool guy and everything else. And as I walked away, I got to thinking, I'm like, why does it please me so much that he's excited and happy about that? Is it just that I'm just pleased, or is there another motive behind that? And I saw the other motive behind it. I was like, there it is again.
Yeah. And look, a lot of people have that. It's not necessarily linked to HDAD. What I find, like,
not necessarily HDAD. I'm more or less speaking of me feeling accepted and wanted in different places. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's what I call a people pleaser mask that goes on, and it's like you really want to please somebody to, it starts with parents initially, and it sort of builds up to, okay, that is how definition of love is. I need to have this acceptance. And, most of us have this in some shape or form. But I actually would like to address, the label that you were given as a child. I get a lot of students that come in, and I can tell you right now, that's a superpower. It absolutely is a superpower, and the society looks at it. I say, well, I'm going to put a label on you and you go special child. Okay. That actually, what that does, and there's a lot of very, very successful people that had that when they were children. What that actually allows you to do is not concentrate things that don't matter to you. Okay, most people cannot do that. Okay, like this, people that actually have that, they can concentrate. Like once they find something they're passionate about it, they are exceptional, right? So, like, let's say for example, your fitness. You'll be exceptional in this because you're passionate about it. Everything else makes no difference. It doesn't matter.
Correct.
Okay, now, that's it. Now, the society looks at it and says, well, that's not normal. Okay, I'm going to give you a label. Here's your label. Okay, and you carry this label through your life like a crutch. And you think, no, well, it doesn't work. My life doesn't work because of, I've got that. Okay, and you start using that as an excuse for not moving forward. It's actually a superpower, and I can tell you right now, we've had quite a few students that came through, and once they release that matrix of the subconscious mind, they are absolutely flying with it right now. So all of that is, it's quite incredible. All the different labels, like we've sort of learned that, okay, mine's not working the way that everybody works. It must be this. I try not to concentrate on what those labels are called, because we can spend 25 years talking about what it is called. Okay, but to me, it's literally like describing scratches on the window. All I'm saying is open the window. Okay, stop describing and putting labels on the scratches. Open the window and enjoy the view. Enjoy life, right? So there's a quicker way of dealing with that. But yes, so
it's interesting as Ken's sharing. I can so relate to you, Ken, and there's no coincidences that we do this show together, right? Because I was bullied as a kid. I never felt I belonged. I never felt good enough. My parents used to say, why can't you be like your brother? My brother was very studious. In fact, he's married 25 years with 4 children, aged sort of 14 to 24 now. And I've never married or had any kids, right? It's like I've been like the black sheep. I've been the creative one. I've been the rebel. I've been the high achiever. And it has felt at times like no matter how much I do, it's not enough. And I've always also loved the public, and I guess it probably comes down to love languages as well. I love the words of affirmation. I love it when people say nice things, right? As well, if we look at love languages. And more recently, I was diagnosed ADHD, right? And I didn't know, actually, I didn't have that label my whole life because I wasn't conscious of it. However, more recently, a doctor analyzed me, a counselor analyzed me, and they said, oh, you're ADHD. And so I'm actually not on any medication. And I've also realized it's a superpower, and it's just a label, and it's someone's opinion, and it's not necessarily the truth, right? However, I've realized that, I have this high energy about me, and I want to do lots of things. And I have this lust for life about me now. I haven't always been that way. There's times I've been very depressed and in some very dark places. And now I've come out the other side of that, and I love my life, and I just want to cram it all in. I just want to do everything, and so that's where I'm at now. I just want to experience life fully in all its forms, and so I can really relate to what you're saying, Ken, and just getting conscious to those those thoughts and that busyness. I've realized and recognized that busyness has been part of wanting to keep me safe. If I stay really busy, it means that I'm working hard, which means that I'm independent. I don't need anyone else. And I know there's been some trauma from, being strangled by an ex-boyfriend, for example, right? So it's like, I don't need a man for anything. I'm just going to stay on my own path, and so there's been a form of keeping me safe from being hurt in relationships by keeping really busy. And there's also been like this, I don't need to work for anyone else, because I've had some trauma working for previous bosses in the media that have been, been a very hard environment, let's say, particularly for women over the years. And when I was working in the media, it's very male dominated and a very oppressive, I would say oppressive is probably the word there I'm looking for, oppressive environment that I worked in for many years under a lot of pressure, as Steve says here, under a lot of pressure to these deadlines constantly, time frames. And so I've come to know my life like this as well, just with these constant go, go, go. And in fact, one of the first jobs I got as a journalist, one of the senior journalists said, Aldwyn, you need a sense of urgency about you in this job. You need a sense of urgency. And it's like I've had this sense of urgency my whole life, it feels so. It's really taken something for me to actually slow down. It's taken something for me to do yoga and to meditate and to just connect with nature, for example, and just be. It takes something.
All those different experiences, I'm just sort of translating everything that you're saying to a code, okay? Because I'm sort of going, okay, there is a code in there that's driving all these experiences. And the belief in there is I cannot trust somebody, especially male. Okay, so when that code goes in as a child, whatever the experience was, and obviously, don't expect you to be sharing it, but that will literally bring all these experiences in constantly, whether in relationship, bosses, all these different things are going to be showing up. That, which gets recoded, taken out, you insert something better into there. And the difference in performance, like one of the questions that I often get is, okay, if I recode, am I going to lose my drive? Like, I love the fact that I'm just so productive, right? And the answer is no. Okay, if you can imagine a Ferrari with lots of handbrakes on and you're raving the engine, you're putting the foot all the way to the ground and the engine's working like this, that's what busy is, by the way. Okay, it's working really high. What happens is, what we do is take foot off the pedal for a second, release the brakes, okay, and let you run. So you actually start feeling like you're not working. So the engine's not working as hard, so it's not as noisy, but suddenly you're just so much more efficient and you're getting so much more done. So that's why, like, I just look at the way that your business is expanding right now, and it's just the beginning. It's absolutely going to be insane in a good way, because right now the productivity has kicked in. So it's not just busy, and you're spinning the wheels. It's actually let go, right? And it's like a Ferrari on the racetrack.
Oh, yeah, it's so exciting. And I'm totally feeling that the last few weeks has been massive expansion. And sometimes, there's a great saying, we need to slow down to speed up. Slow down to speed up, right? And that's exactly what you're saying, is take the handbrake off and just let go and let go with the flow, and let's have fun and enjoy this amazing adventure and ride of life, right? It really doesn't have to be hard work, right?
It's hard work. You're working against the bullet train.
Yes.
Okay? Get that really through your mind. So if it feels like hard work, you're working against something behind you that's pulling you back. When the train is aligned with the bicycle, when your subconscious mind is on board with your ideas, you literally just put the bicycle inside a train and run. It's fast. Okay, so you don't actually feel you can grow business to hundreds of millions of dollars. You're not going to feel it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun ride. Sure, there's going to be puzzles to solve along the way, but it's all going to be fun. Like, have a look at the way Richard Branson's growing his businesses. He's got so many businesses. He only has 24 hours in a day, just like us. Okay, he can do that because his train is totally aligned with his goals. All he has to do is just, let's run that way.
Oh, I love this conversation. We've been chatting for nearly 2 hours, and we could just keep on chatting, I'm sure, for another 2 hours. And it's just, we said, initially we said, oh, look, our shows normally go for sort of 60 minutes to 90 minutes. And this is
not with conversations like this. No.
I'm actually here silently texting my clients going, just wait, I'm finishing it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anna.
If anyone has found this fascinating, wants to learn a little bit more, seriously, the 5-day challenge is 1 hour per day. Okay, it costs $97, the best money you'll ever spend on yourself. And I don't know if you can put a link or link this, but we actually have a challenge right now. I'm only doing it once a month. So you just have to go on a waiting list until the next one comes along. I think the next one's
signed up.
Yeah.
19th. I think it's on the 19th of June. I don't know what month we're in. Just having too much fun. But yeah, so next month, I think in 3 weeks, we're starting the next one. Just register your interest on it, and we'll send you we've got people from all over the world, so we'll give you the different time zones, and you can choose. It's live, so you want to learn, show up live. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning to run this in Australia, so it actually fits different time zones. So just be there. Yeah.
I think there's only one day I wouldn't be able to join the live, and that would be on a Wednesday. But as far as what I'm thinking, if you keep it at the slot it's at right now, which is when I signed up, it said 1:30 for me.
Whereabouts are you based again?
Pacific Standard Time.
Yep. Yeah. So it's a different times. So wherever you're listening from, just hop on there and it will tell you exactly what time. Now, people that upgrade to VIP gives you so many different tools, and it's just going to be, so the VIP goes for 2 hours. The other one's just 1 hour per day. So the VIP, it explains everything on the website, but it actually has recordings as well, because I record both of them at the same time. Only the VIPs can rewatch it. So if you register as a VIP, then if you don't show up on that day, you can rewatch it another day. But look, I usually find that, let's say 100 people start on day one. By the time we get to day 5, we've got 500 people on the call. Everybody's just so fascinated by it. Because when you think about it, Ken, seriously, like, I really believe that if people have this knowledge and you can tap into those superpowers, things like emotional and physical pain can become an option. Just think about it. When we don't have that physical, like all the damage that we do to each other, to other human beings, to other, to animals, to nature, it's based on fear and pain. Okay, those two things are driving it. Like, I'm not good enough, so I need to have these and I need to have more, and all this competition going on. All that is coded in the subconscious mind. You recode that, and the people that come out on the other side, it's just people that want to have fun and want to collaborate and want to make this more, because they understand that we're all one with nature, one with everything else. So why would you want to be destroying another wave? Like, what's the point? It's still the ocean, right? So the quote of when the wave realizes it is the ocean, that's when enlightenment happens. It's probably the most powerful quote you'll ever hear in your life.
Yeah, love it. And thank you to our Facebook user, who we still don't know the name of, but we'll check you out on Facebook. No competition, only connection. The more we connect, the more the abundance happens in our life. Our abundance is here right now, that connection. And for those who are on the audio, we are going to be sharing this live stream video right now, this online TV show. We're sharing it to the podcast platforms as well after this. So for those on the podcast platforms that are tuning in by audio, that website for the 5-day challenge for Anna is quantummindacademy.com/recode-your-mind. Okay, quantummindacademy.com/recode-your-mind. Okay, and for other information on Anna, to connect with her, you can just go to a website as well, which is Quantum Mind Academy, or Linktree Linktree, linktr.ee/Quantum Mind Academy, or quantummindacademy.com as well. You'll find all of her info there. Anything else you'd like to say about the truth about your own superpowers? It's been an awesome show, Anna. Oh my gosh, I love this. I'm going to listen to the replay because there's been so many gold nuggets through
I
this.
most likely will too. Like, this has been absolutely incredible. And I really appreciate you coming on. Let me be the first to thank you for you coming on here and just being here for literally 2 hours, just dumping wealth of information. And your own audience is like waiting for you to come back to them, just going, hey, when are you going to be here? And when are you going to? So we really, really appreciate your times. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. It's been absolutely my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, look, Anna, you're an absolute gem. I'm so grateful to have met you in Melbourne. I'm so grateful we're doing work together. And in fact, I'm so loving this work that I would be interested to be a facilitator. I'll be one of your coaches, because I know you're growing a whole coaching arm there as well. So I'm very curious to find out more about that as well. So for anyone who's interested in maybe working with you, how do they go about that?
Yeah, so there's on our website, so quantummindacademy.com, there is a tab that says coach, and we have a meeting coming up first week of next month, where I'm going to be talking about coaches. This year, I literally need at least 100 coaches to help me through, because right now this work is so unique. There's no one else that I know of in the world that actually does it in a way that I do it. And it's super, super powerful. People get such massive results that, as you can imagine, I just get influx of clients, and I need to replicate myself. I really want to recode 1 million minds this year. 1 million, that's a lot. I can't do it on my own. It's 24 hours in a day, but I need at least 100 coaches to help me through it. That just simply guide them through whatever it's already in place. I just simply need people that have passion for helping others. And enough brains to pick it up and learn how to do it. And I make it really simple. I'm like all about 1, 2, 3, too many. So don't complicate it. The KISS principle.
I love it. I love it. And we will come to your favorite quote in just a moment. You've mentioned a few gold nugget quotes, but we'll come back to our favorite quotes right at the end. But just before we do that, where can people connect with you?
On my Linktree, and on my Linktree, there are 3 different links that I'm going to bring your attention to. The first one is going to be to join my growing Facebook community. It's a special community, so if you want to know a little bit about me, I've lost 62.5 pounds, kept it off for going on 6 years now. And I teach other people how to do the exact same thing without a diet and without all these crazy restrictions and everything else that people go through. It's literally a journey. And I teach people how to approach it like that journey. This particular Facebook group, it's all about that. It's about, there's a lot of content in there that I've shared. It's about empowering you, giving you the tools to make long-lasting changes in your weight loss journey. So I'm not just teaching you how to lose the weight. It's literally the key on how to keep it off like I have. So that's number 1. Number 2, you will see a link in there to book an appointment with me. Book an appointment with me. Definitely do that. It's not going to harm you. I'm not going to come after you and try to hard sell you on hiring me as a coach or anything like that. Just book that first appointment. Let me get on. Let me see what, if you're even a good fit at all. And that is 100% free. Lastly, third link to draw your attention to on my Linktree is my website. Go to my website. You can find out all kinds of things about me, see what I'm all about, different things like that. There's also a free masterclass running on my website as well. And you can also find my podcast on my website as well. The link to my Linktree is, for those listening by audio, is www.linktree, and that is spelled linktr.ee/FatFighterKen. That is my Linktree.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ken. And for those who want to connect with me, just go to my Linktree, linktr.ee/Aldwyn, spelled ALDWYN. And in there, you can also book a call with me if you want to know how to get yourself out there, be seen, heard, and known in the mass media and make a bigger difference in the world. Then you can book a free clarity connection call with me on my Linktree there, as well as we have all sorts of awesome events that we run. We have the Global Good News Challenge happening every single month. And in fact, this month, good news is we share it's our 3rd year anniversary of the Global Good News Challenge. Every single month we've been doing it since June 2020, right through COVID, sharing more truth and good news with the world and helping to decrease depression and suicide rates. And my favorite quote I will go to now, one of my favorite quotes is a Gandhi one: "Be the change you wish to see in the world," by Gandhi. Now, Anna, what's the favorite quote for you?
Well, I think I've said it over and over again. I think that this one just tops it all. I mean, I've got lots of quotes, but I think that the enlightenment comes when it realizes it's the ocean. I love that one.
Enlightenment comes when the wave realizes it's the ocean. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Anna. I love that too. And Ken, your favorite quote?
Well, I've got a couple of them, but I'm only going to do one tonight. So it's not really a quote. It's just something I have here on a piece of paper on my wall. But you cannot hope for motivation for the day. You must be intentional about it. Start your day with intention.
I love it. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm going to put a bonus one in. It's a Margaret Mead one. I think it's very relevant for what we've been chatting about today. And it is: a small group of thoughtful people can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. Thank you so much for joining us today here on Total Truth Show. If you have enjoyed what you've seen on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, where you've been watching this on any of the podcast channels, please like, comment, share. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat. Spread the love. Thank you so much, Anna, for being our special guest today. It's been absolute pleasure, and thank you for going the extra mile with us and doing the extra time in this show as well. We should keep chatting with you.
I love this topic. I could speak without catching a breath for 3 months straight. So thank you.
And we do have a couple other people that have just said thank you in the comments. If you will, I will share that. And then we've got this one.
Thank you, Joe Pertil, and thank you, Steve Holmes on LinkedIn. Steve says, thank you. Interesting views and perspective. And Joe says, thank you so much. I learned so much. Power to you all. Power to you too, Joe. Thank you so much for joining us. Blessings to you. God bless. Here's to you stepping into being your extraordinary self, your superpower. It's all there. You have your own superpowers, and let's see what comes of this now. Let's see how the ripple effect of this rolls out from this show. Please let us know how you go with it, and of course join Anna on her challenge. I'll put the details in there to make sure you go to I can say firsthand, I love the challenge. quantummindacademy.com. You'll find it all in there, and look for the challenge, 5-day challenge. I recommend go ahead and do it and see what you think. All right. Thank you so much. It's a wrap. Any final words before we wrap here? No, we're good to go. All right.
That's like at this point the danger zone. That would carry us on to another hour.
Yeah. Blessings to you all. Thank you so much once again, and we'll be back with more fantastic Total Truth Show episodes. So stay tuned, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.